You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Snap, the kick, it's been blocked again! Oh my! It's been blocked again! He's going to heave one deep down the field. It's going to be to the goal line. It's going to be gone! It's a touchdown! And the Gators have won the game! Tyreek Cleveland! Oh my! I can't believe what I just saw! Dropping back to throw, pops and fires the ball over the middle. It's Dory! It's Dory! Got a touchdown! Dory's got a touchdown! Oh my! Dory's got a touchdown! Hands it off to Harvin. He comes back. Say goodbye.
Ahmad Black, in his final game as a Gator, takes it all the way home and sends Urban out a winner.
You have now arrived at Stadium and Gale.
Boys and girls, ladies and gents, welcome to another episode of The List, trademark by Daniel. How you doing, Dan? What's up with it?
It's good to see you again, Corey. Man, it is. It's good. It's good to see you. It's also not good to see you considering our circumstances. You know.
I mean, it's unfortunate circumstances for sure. Unfortunate circumstances. I always want us to win. But in the moment we don't win, we've been prepping this list. So, business is business, and we got to do what we got to do, man.
It's our time as a podcast that has probably at times too much carried the water of the administration. We've never been told what to say or what to do or how to act. But a lot of times we just kind of erred on the side of, they'll figure it out, or they just need this. We kind of drank some of our own Kool-Aid that we were being fed, and it's like, they're just getting their own guys, and they're just a QB, they're just some playmakers, they're just some development away. And man, I don't feel like we're any closer to winning now than we were 4 years ago.
I don't think I'm gonna give us some credit here, right? So we're not gonna beat the dead horse every episode. Right. We're not like gonna go burn the barn or anything crazy, but I think we've been consistent with, we like the talent acquisition. Yep. We like the culture building of, the type of players he's bringing in. The off the field trouble was intact, and they felt like they were playing for him. They all liked each other. They felt like family environments. Like, I bought into all of that. But we all were waiting for the results on the field to kind of show itself, and it just never got to it. The big win that never really happened for me, in my opinion. Now, he had some SEC wins where he's beat some guys ranked higher than him, etc., but wasn't consistent enough. Yesterday was, we watch these teams we play. I know we got to talk about this on tomorrow's show. I don't want to get too deep into this matchup, but every team we played this fall, I thought we could have beat.
Yeah. I mean, and you've been, not to use Billy's words in favor of him being correct, but you were in the game. You should have beaten USF. You should have, and you had a chance to beat LSU. You had the ball down 6 against Miami. In this game against Mississippi State, and I'll be honest with you, I missed the last half of the game. I was at a concert, so I'll watch it tomorrow. But you had a chance to win this game too. And I'm looking back on the last 3.5 years, and I don't know when the last time we've put together, if ever, with an asterisk. I mean, there's probably something where we've ever put together a complete offensive and defensive game together. We can't seem to gel. And that to me starts with coaching. It starts with leadership, it starts with preparation, it starts with all of the intangibles that this team doesn't seem to have right now. And that's probably the most disappointing out of all of this. And that's where we find ourselves. Florida has given Billy Napier more money than any coach, probably not only by the sheer amount of money, but by per capita amount of money. And they've given him more opportunity to be successful. They've given him more leash to hang himself. And so he has wrapped that metaphorical rope around his neck more than any coach at the University of Florida has been allowed by probably any listener of our program's lifetimes. So it is time. We're ready to move on. And at the end of the day, there's some great opportunity to improve and to find a better coach that's out there. And that's what we're going to talk about on this show.
Riddle me this. So Penn State fired their coach today. James Franklin went 13-3 last year. He's on the skid this year. They let him go. One of their, I think he's a substantial coach in college football. He was on my list last year. I'm going to throw him on the list this year by default a little bit. Not saying that I think he's a great coach or anything magnificent and we should be chasing him hard because he just got fired, right? But Penn State, it looks why are we hanging on? What is, it's like they're waiting on some type of miracle to happen. But at this point, he's the worst coach in Gator history. He's the worst coach in the SEC right now, like by far. We're not about to outcoach anybody in the SEC. He's at the bottom tier of a lot of things. What is Florida holding on to at this point?
I don't know, and I don't anticipate Florida making a decision tomorrow. I know that there's a press conference in the morning. I think that that's just a normal run-of-the-mill press conference. From everything that I've heard, I don't anticipate a change being made tomorrow. And outside of just maybe the most miraculous turnaround of all time, I don't think that Billy Napier will be here past the Georgia game. I do want to give this caveat because I agree with you, Corey, that I think it's time to make a move for the players' sake and for the fans' sake to say, hey, we listen, we're hearing you, and it's time to make the move. I don't think that Florida waiting, and I tweeted this earlier, I don't think that Florida waiting to fire Billy Napier at all hampers their ability to bring on a new coach. And that's something that people are like, well, if we don't fire him now, then we're not going to be able to get first dibs. It's like, these conversations are already happening. The vetting process has already started. And who's doing that vetting is a variety of different people, some that you know, some that you don't know. It doesn't put Florida in any precarious situation when it comes to timing because no coach is going to leave their current job to come to the University of Florida. Things also changed. As a coach that you're targeting, go into week 2, week 3 of the playoffs. That changes things. That it also changes the amount of money. So there's a lot of moving parts here. And the most important and most critical piece is that Jimmy Sexton is the agent for 20 of the top 35 coaches in college football. So there's going to be a lot of shenanigans going on. There's going to be a lot of shenanigans afoot. And so I don't want Gator fans to freak out and say, hey, if we don't fire him, not because of the point you made, Corey, which I agree with wholeheartedly, but because if Florida waits, they're not going to be able to get first dibs on somebody. I disagree with that premise. And Florida can have conversations with somebody still in the role because I believe those conversations have already started.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, my take on it isn't from a higher perspective, but I'm with you. I've heard similar things that these conversations have already got started. Do like some of the names I'm hearing, but I'm gonna be skeptical until a lot of things happen because I've been let down in these coaching hires in the past. But I think just from a morale standpoint, like Penn State, they could have waited to the end of the season, but they're on a skid, and I think they're trying to infuse some type of morale. You can see UCLA over on the West Coast with shout out to Tim Skipper. He got them guys over there, skipping to a different tune, pun intended.
Imagine getting picked over for a job at Florida to then just go create one of the most miraculous 2-game turnarounds in college football this year.
I think he turned it down. I don't think he was picked over. I think he turned it down for. I don't want to get it. We'll talk about this. Another show, another time for another show. But just like UCLA, they got on a little winning streak here, and they're winning some games that people didn't think they would win, and they're playing better just from a morale standpoint, bro. Like, it's amazing sometimes what getting rid of the problem could do to, the rest of the staff, the players, and the rest of the season, man. So that's the only reason I'm saying, like, at this point, why are you keeping them around? Because we're not winning. the offense isn't getting like where it needs to be. They played improved football, but it's not good enough to go win football games. The play calling is still horrid. Like, it's terrible. That's tomorrow's show. Let's talk the list. Yeah.
Corey, I did send you a text that I got, so take a look at that, and then I'm gonna. I just want to shout out a few people.
This is insider heat.
Yeah, this is some insider heat. If you're watching, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're watching on X, please hit the retweet button or the re-X or whatever they're calling it, share button, please, for that. Todd Heyman's a new member. Want to thank you for joining. There's a couple of comments here. Florida boy, the biggest issue is they don't feel pressure from the fans. They continue to sell out these games. I want you to know that they know that the fans are not happy. Them selling out tickets to the game, largely many of which have already been sold, they know, and they don't look at that as a lack of fan support. They already have the money. You would be wasting your money in this economy not going to the game. Most of those tickets, if not all, have already been sold out. I don't think that has anything to do with it. And then Hurdle 25, Scott Strickland's making the hire. He's the athletic director. He may use a firm, but Scott Strickland's making the hire. It's not that simple. And it's not a unilateral one-person decision, and we can talk a little bit about that when this does happen for the University of Florida. So, Corey, why don't we go through the list a little bit? We made some changes. Let's pull it up here.
Let's pull it up.
This is Dan. And Dan's only list. Let's zoom in here a little bit. All right. So there is the list. Starts off with Dan Lanning, still number 1. I know he lost. Lane Kiffin, number 2. Marcus Freeman, number 3. Curt Cignetti jumps up to number 4. Kenny Dillingham, 5. Rhett Lashley, Corey's guy, moves from 11 to 9 to 6. Then you have Clark Lee, Brent Key, Will Stein, and Brian Hartline. There is a reason why some of these names are on here. There's a reason why some of them are in the order that they're in. And if I could redo the list now compared to what I just texted Corey, there might even be some additional changes. But those are my top 10 right now. Pulled kind of everything into a spreadsheet here, Corey. So Dan Lanning currently, he's probably, in my opinion, the least touchable, or that's an odd way to say that. He's probably the coach that Florida is not going to get, and you have to put him on there just because he's 40-7 over there at Oregon. Buyouts $20 million, making 10.4 right now. Florida would have to open up a Brinks truck for him. Lane Kiffin currently making $9 million, $3 million buyout. Marcus Freeman signed a contract extension, and this is not public information about what he's making. He was last making in the $7.5 million range. I would imagine that he's probably in the $8 to $9 million range. Curt Cignetti's making $8.3 million. Kenny Dillingham's making 7.5. Rhett Lashley's at 2.5. Clark Lee's at 3.7. Brent Key's at 4.5. Will Stein's at 1.75. And Brian Hartline is at $2 million. There is a name, James Franklin. We'll talk about him in a bit. But that's where you're at. If you think that Florida is going to be spending anywhere close to the amount of money that they spent on Billy Napier, you are wrong. I would not be surprised if that amount of money in the next contract is 50% higher, 60% higher in terms of the overall spend that they're going to need. Now, the amount of money coming into college football is higher than it's ever been, but this higher, if it's anybody here, and there's good reason to believe that one of the names should be on this list here, maybe sans one, you're going to be spending more money than Florida has ever hired for a head coach at the University of Florida.
Very nice.
Any changes to your list? Let's talk the elephant in the room first, right? That's the biggest news that dropped today, besides Trent Dilfer getting fired, is James Franklin, head coach at Penn State. Went has 128-60 overall record. 3-3 this year. Was probably on nearly everybody's list, if you will. Last year is getting paid $49 million US. I don't know how that gets paid out. But what are your thoughts there on James Franklin at the University of Florida, Corey?
When I said Franklin, even on the timeline, like the only reason I consider Franklin is
we lost Corey. He'll be back. Oh, there he is. I'll let Corey get set back up. Is Franklin's buyout offset by future coaching contracts? It is fully guaranteed by Penn State. He's going to make $49 million regardless of what he does. You back, Corey? All right, Corey's getting set up. I think something accidentally got unplugged. Any tweets from the GMs? No tweets from the GM. Lane is the list. I will tell you that there is more than just his name, and don't be surprised if his name is not number one on that list. Joey McGuire is not a name that's associated with the University of Florida. I don't anticipate him leaving the state of Texas. Dan, why not Steve Spurrier Jr.? Steve Spurrier Jr. has never been a head coach and probably not somebody that you guys would want if his last name wasn't Jr. Mayaka Gator, we're not buying out Dan Lanning. No, we're probably not going to buy out Dan Lanning. None of those names excite me. Bring back Mullen. Mullen effectively quit on the team. He was ready to go. I think he needed some time away from the game, and I think that's why you saw him on the sidelines for 3 years. He's not in tune with the way college football wants to be run now. I don't think that he is what you want or looking for in a head coach now. I think that he was fine then, but right now is obviously not the right hire. And yeah, obviously the UAA or select group will make the hire. The booster won't make the hire. Depends on which boosters you're talking about. I think they have a louder voice than you think. Welcome back, Corey.
Yeah, I saw the amateur hour going on here. I didn't plug the computer up or the laptop up, and it just died on me, man. So I apologize for that. So, like I was saying, my take on not Lane Kiffin. My take on James Franklin is just looking at the last 4 hires we made. Right, I had just flash hires in mind, big names, and that's just not what I got. So just looking at what James Franklin is, and sometimes our program doesn't want to spend a lot of money, as far as hires. This guy not having a buyout, James Franklin, speaking of not having a buyout, I think is very enticing to, to Strickland, in my opinion. I don't know if he's, been vetted, any of that. But when I see the name hit the timeline and he's fired, the first thing I think of is, he's available for early signing day. He's available to keep the class intact, transfer portal. There's no buyout. There's a lot of enticing things there for a program in our situation. So I thought there'd be some interest in that capacity. But if it's just my wants and who I would like to be the head coach, I don't know if he would make the list. Would I be mad if he's the head coach? His record at Penn State, I'm not gonna hold him to that entire record, and to like his resume of not top 10 wins. I don't think Lane Kiffin has the greatest resume. I don't think there's a lot of coaches in college football right now with great resumes that we can go after. It's very few that has, I would say, the qualifications to be a UF coach, because a lot of these, like the coaching scene has changed. It's flipped. A lot of fresh faces, a lot of young faces. So I don't think there's a lot of qualified guys out there, qualified big wins, etc. But if you look at it from a recruiting standpoint, a CEO standpoint, he hires very well. He has a good staff right now, being able to bring Phil Trotwin back down to Florida. Very enticing. We've been struggling with O-line recruiting, O-line development for a very long time. He's one of the best in the business. You look at the way he hires OCs, DCs. He goes for splash hires in those departments. He delegates. So there's a lot to like about him. That don't mean I would want him at the top of my list, but I just think he's a guy that the staff would be, or the administration would consider for a lot of the reasons I just said.
Yeah. No, you make a good point, Corey. I mean, when you think of Lane Kiffin, there's a strong chance he's in the college football playoff. That goes into late December, early January. Marcus Freeman, there's a chance that Notre Dame gets into the playoffs there. Kurt Cignetti, right now, there's nothing telling me that Indiana can't be in the playoff. Kenny Dillingham, there's a chance that Arizona State can get there. Rhett Lashley at SMU, there's a chance that they can get there. Clark Lee at Vanderbilt, there's a chance, and maybe an outside chance, but there's a chance that they get there. Brent Key, probably not getting to the playoffs. Will Stein, he's an offensive coordinator, would leave. I would imagine would stick around as long as Oregon, if they make the college football playoff, calling plays, kind of handling both sides, and then are both positions. And then Brian Hartline at Ohio State, they're obviously the number one team in the country. So he would probably leave, but again, probably pull some sort of double duty there with his role as the offense coordinator there at Ohio State. So you're running into issues that, Corey, you bring up a good point, is if you look at a guy like James Franklin, one, you could probably get him cheaper with a $49 million buyout than other coaches. Is he a coach that I think excites a lot of fan bases? He went, 13-3 last year?
Mm-hmm.
Had 10 wins or 11 wins the season before, 10 wins the season before, 11 wins the season before that. Is it the sexiest hire? No. Are there any sexy hires out there? I mean, Lane Kiffin is a sexy hire kind of from a fit perspective and from an offense perspective, but he comes with his own issues. They almost lost. I mean, they still won, right? So you got to give them that. They almost lost to Washington State the other day. Marcus Freeman, again, is that a guy that excites you? Or is it just, hey, he got lucky at Notre Dame 1 year and, they made the semifinals? Is he good enough? They had a couple losses this year. Kurt Cignetti, he's older. Kenny Dillingham, can he succeed in the SEC? Rhett Lashley, right? Like the list goes on and on about why you can create a caveat for all of these. And I don't think that the caveat for James Franklin is any worse than any of the other caveats that are listed, other than maybe he's not stylistically the coach that maybe you want. Or maybe he's just consistent and not great. And I'd take consistent right now over what we have.
And I'm gonna be real with you, right? I think one of the stains on, and I like Kiffin, but I think one of the stains on Kiffin is he just lost to Billy. And to be honest with you, if Billy is still here, I think we could beat him again. And I don't know if you got hire a guy that Billy beats twice,
right? Yeah, I mean, there's going to be something, right, about almost all of these coaches.
Right.
And that's where Florida finds itself in a bit of a precarious situation. And that's where college football finds itself, especially with Jimmy Sexton controlling a lot of these contracts. And, some of the AD contracts as well, where he's kind of negotiating against himself, right? And it's like, oh, man, he really likes you, but he needs another $1 million. And he comes back and be like, oh, man, what about 900? It's just not going to be enough. Now it's 1.2, right? So college coaches are significantly more expensive than they've ever been. The length of contracts is longer than it's ever been. The amount of guaranteed money is more than it's ever been. Is Florida willing to pony up that kind of money? Right? You look at Lane Kiffin making $9 million right now. What do you need to pay Lane? 12? 13?
I got $50 on it. I told you.
I'll double it and pass it to the next person. So we're up to 150. Who's going to double it?
No, we got it, man.
But just think of that number, Corey, right? 13 million is $6.5 million or $5.5 million more than Billy Napier.
I don't see us doing that. Like I like to be realistic, right? With and I'm a very aware person. There's a world I want a way I want things to operate in the world, right?
Right.
And then there's a way things actually operate. And I like to just be realistic with how things actually operate. And the way Florida operates, I don't see us going to pay Lane Kiffin $13 million.
Yeah.
2 buyouts, because you got to get his buyout, our coach buyout. We're still paying Mullins buyout. I don't see these people going to drop $13 million on Lane Kiffin.
Right.
And also too, like, you just considering like the playoffs, like we were already talking. It's a lot of cons versus a lot of these names that people want. And I don't see it happening. Just when you get to like realistic, roster management, you want to get a guy in here to, keep guys intact for sure. Because those guys are going to be making decisions around Christmas break, etc. So if you fire a guy, while these guys are lingering, of course, they're going to be getting enticed by other programs that are winning. Some of these are going to be playoff teams, right? You're going to need somebody to come in and retain that type of talent. And I just think James Franklin make a lot of sense from that standpoint. Guys that are locked in the playoffs, they're just going to be locked into the playoffs. Like, they're not going to be flirting with, recruiting for a team that they're going to be coaching in a few weeks. They're not going to entertain that. They're going to be trying to make a run to go win a natty because it's wide open this year. Mm-hmm. So I think from a lot of standpoints, like a lot of the names that people like and that we got even on our list, man, we just hired William Bartholomew Napier and we hired Jim, Bob McElwain. And I remember when we hired both of those guys, even Dan Mullen. Yeah. I had tweets, like all the ops, Florida State fans, they were all screenshotting my tweets, talking crazy about Dan Mullen before we hired him, because I didn't think that would be a good hire. So, Muschamp, I didn't expect that hire out the name like Urban Meyer, a defensive coordinator, a guy with no head coaching experience. Like, none of the hires, I expected, and I was let down by all of them. So until UF proved me different, I think I'm going to be let down a little bit here.
Yeah, and I think we talked about the list. Whenever the firing does happen, inevitably we'll move to a version 2. And then we'll keep it going. And that's going to be your more realistic. Like, it's silly for me to believe that UF would pay Dan Lanning that amount of money in the buyout, right? I'm not dumb enough to actually believe that. But when you create lists, you've got to be thoughtful. You got to be creative. I don't think Kirk Cignetti is going to come to University of Florida. I don't know if it's the right cultural fit. I don't know if it's the right fit overall.
McElwain Jr., man.
Looking for. I mean, dude, he's put together an unbelievable turnaround. Indiana used to be the worst team in the Power 2, the Big Ten and the SEC for decades.
I like how people like his trash talk. Like, McElwain didn't come here and say he could teach Clarabelle how to quarterback.
That's true. He did. But at least he's winning at Indiana. Jim McElwain was doing fine at Colorado State.
Right.
I mean, Jim McElwain was never number 3 in the country. He was never.
Jim McElwain, if he was number 3 in the country, it was a terrible fit. It didn't matter what his ranking ever was. Right.
Yeah. And I agree.
And I think the same thing with Cignetti. Yeah. I like Cignetti, but I don't think it's a fit.
Yeah. Rhett Lashley, Clark Lee. So these are the guys that are at their alma maters. Kenny Dillingham, Clark Lee, and Brent Key, I think, and Brian Hartline for that matter. I think Brian Hartline's different because he's not a head coach. I do think Brent Key would leave his alma mater. The fit is going to be a question, right? He's got Haynes King, who is doing it all for Georgia Tech right now. They've beaten a lot of teams that they shouldn't have. He's 24-16 as a head coach. I think that's a name that Gator fans should start to become somewhat familiar with. Just putting that out there. I don't think that Clark Lee is on the list. And I think that for most schools, they're going to want to see how he does without Diego Pavia, but you have to give him his flowers as well. There is one name of a coach that you all know that will never make it on my list, but might be and has been listed in the chat. Culture fit is going to be a question mark. But he's won and turned around a program. and doing very well. I think 26-5 in the last 31, 27-5 maybe in the last 32. So that might be a name to be familiar with as well. And I don't think that you should sleep on the idea of Marcus Freeman.
That's the one. I keep hearing that name a lot, in the inside of the Heat behind closed doors, but they would not get me excited, Daniel. I refuse. By the hype. I called myself Chocolate Chip Kelly, thinking I was going to get Chip Kelly at one point, bro. So,
Oh my God. Yeah. So that's where we find. Is there anybody that you are more excited about now than in 2 weeks ago?
I love Brett. I love Rhett Lashley, man.
Yep.
This is a guy I like the play calling style. Young. I think he has a chip on his shoulder. He's done it in the ACC early, so I don't think it's one of the best conferences. But considering what SMU was for him to jump in and get to the ACC championship right away, it's more credibility than the G5, right? You got to play some historically good programs to be able to get to the ACC championship. So, and the offense was explosive. I think it's a great fit. Like, you got to be able to have an explosive offense at the University of Florida because that's what our culture is. Steve Spurrier built this house, and that's just what it is. So I think he fits the mold, bro. But I don't know, what SMU bag is, and how bought in he is out there in Dallas. I think that's what Arkansas talk, but I don't think Arkansas is. I think Arkansas is a step back from SMU, like in real life. Outside of Arkansas being in the SEC. I think Dallas is a better town to live in, and I also think that SMU has more money. I don't think they have better recruiting grounds in Arkansas. I think Dallas has better recruiting grounds. The NIL budget, I'd be shocked if Arkansas is going to spend more money than SMU. So I don't even think that's an upgrade. I think he'd be downgrading to go to Arkansas.
Arkansas sneakily has more money because of the Walton family and the Tyson chicken family. It's either Tyson or Purdue. Forgot which one's there in Bentonville. They give, and there's a lot of money that's been associated with Walmart money, people leaving, going to start their own company or logistics firms and all of that. So there's a lot of money in Arkansas, but I do agree, since that 2006 SEC championship, there's really I can't even really think of a time that Arkansas has really been nationally relevant. I mean, I could be wrong. I'm sure the chat will say, "Oh, you forgot about that one year in 2011." And so I'm putting that out there that I don't totally remember. Tyson, thank you. I don't think it is going to. He's only getting $2.5 million right now. Rhett Lashley is. So they've got bread, but they're not spending it necessarily on him. They've got the booster money.
Mm-hmm.
They've not recruited like they have that kind of bag, though, necessarily. So does SMU have a ceiling? Yeah. Does that have a ceiling, right? Like, there's money that you can spend, but there's still going to be a potential ceiling at SMU.
Yeah, I just think Arkansas ceiling and SMU ceiling is the same ceiling. They're just like, Spider-Man meme.
Yeah. At least SMU has an easier path, unless you're FSU, to the college football playoff.
Right.
Playing the ACC.
But I think he's a playoff guy as well this year. So I don't know what the likelihood of, but I think it's different with a guy because he's going to be entering the playoffs knowing he about to get his ass whooped a little bit. Like, he don't expect to go on a national championship run. So I think it would be a nice little caveat for him to finish with his guys, but I think he's in a position where he can accept a job and still go into the playoffs. Some of these other guys, if you're at Notre Dame, Marcus Freeman is not about to accept a job and go into the playoffs, because the expectations is like championship level from a program like that. But SMU, people wouldn't be shocked if he was to, take a job and also be heading into the playoffs, et cetera, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I'm trying to find the comment here. There was something about Freeman not liking the offense. Oh, the QBs aren't impressive, and I hate the offensive style. I'm going to be honest with you. Probably every single coach except for the biggest names that are untouchable, and Dan Lanning, I mean, you're going to probably find fault in all of them, right? Lane Kiffin's defense and recruiting, Marcus Freeman's offense, Kenny Dillingham's has he proven it? Rhett Lashley, kind of the same thing. Clark Lee, can he do it without Diego Pavia? Brent Key, can he do it without Haynes King? And is
his OC stays at Georgia Tech? That's my thing with Brent Key. Yeah, I think Georgia Tech retains his OC, and then now who's calling his plays, right? Now I have no idea who he would hire as an OC if he don't bring his OC that he has right now.
Right. Does Marcus Freeman have reason to leave Notre Dame? Listen,
yeah, same reason Brian Kelly left.
Yeah, there's other factors that go into being the head coach at Notre Dame in terms of ability to make to make certain decisions. I just kind of leave it at that. We can talk more about it as we get a little bit closer if that happens. But I wouldn't say from who Corey talks to and who I talk to are two very different groups of people, as you can imagine. We've both heard the same thing. And there's potentially a reason for him to at least explore the opportunity should it come available. Should other positions become available for him too? Not that he's necessarily just targeting a Florida position, but there's reason for us to believe that there is not 100% job satisfaction at with Notre Dame.
I'm gonna be real with y'all. Y'all absolutely crazy if you think Marcus Freeman is a no. I don't know what world y'all living in. He's one of the most qualified coaches we could go out there right now. Like the coaching world has flipped upside down. Like who is qualified out there? Mm-hmm. You're not getting Kirby Smart. Like who is, even if you're trying to go get, say you want Sarkisian, he has blemishes. He's not proof. He just lost to Billy. Mm-hmm. And he's considered one of the better play callers and CEOs of college football right now. Bro, it's not a lot of proven guys out there. And if you scratching Marcus Freeman off the list, then you living in a delusional world. Yeah, for sure. I take Marcus Freeman yesterday, 100%. He's a young guy. Like you said, that is a possibility. Brian Kelly leaves, and the two jobs that Brian Kelly's interested in when he leaves Notre Dame is LSU and Florida. Mm-hmm. Why would Brian Kelly leave Notre Dame? For what reason? He didn't get fired. He volunteered to, hey, I want to go coach in the SEC for a lot of different reasons that we got to break down. But Notre Dame isn't the easiest job to get kids into. There's no home fertile. They got to recruit on a national level. They're going to go to Cali. They're going to go to Florida. They're going to go to New York. They got to go everywhere because there's no homegrown talent. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of comfort brought to your life when you're recruiting in Florida because you can just going down the street to recruit. You're not getting on flights to go everywhere, and also who you can bring in. Mm-hmm. You could go into the hood and get certain kids at the University of Florida that Catholic programs aren't going to want you to bring in, right? So there's a lot to be desired there, bro.
Yeah. So that's what I'm hearing as well. I think that there's some personnel decision-making that is outside of his control as well. So those are things to consider. He is very in tune with South Bend. Our buddy Cav is up there now. He's up in the South Bend area. And I know Marcus Freeman is very involved in the community. He's very involved with the university beyond his role as head coach. He's a Midwest guy. I think he's from Ohio. He went to Ohio State, right? There's a lot of connection to the Midwest. And so I don't want to say that Marcus Freeman is a surefire. Yes, he would leave his job for Florida. I am telling you what we're hearing is that there are opportunities for conversations about what that role would look like to Marcus Freeman when that Florida position opens up. I'm not saying that he's going to take the job. I'm not saying that he's going to be your next head coach at the University of Florida. I just don't want you to think that he's in the same category as like a Dan Lanning would be, or any of the other big name coaches that you think might be untouchable.
Shout out to Scott. He said Lane wants to be Spurrier. I want to be Spurrier too. Like, give me the job. Like, who don't want to be Spurrier? Everybody want to be Spurrier, bro. It's not a interview question. Do you want to be Spurrier?
Joe Brady. I don't think Joe Brady wants to. I mean, Joe Brady had a couple years in college, and he's been at the NFL since Joe Burrow went. I think that he's happy in Buffalo. He's gonna probably win a Super Bowl this year, or probably lose a Super Bowl this year. She's still
I don't think Joe Brady wants to recruit and do the college football thing, man. NFL is fluffy.
Yeah,
guys get an off season, like to go to Hawaii and not like stalk kids all season.
I mean, that'd be the dream job, dude. If I'm coaching, I mean, you've seen it. I haven't seen it as much recently, but it happened with Kerry Colbert and who else on that first staff? Oh, Piegler and what's his name? They got a call from the NFL and they're like, peace.
Yeah,
I'm out. I mean, you don't have to do the recruiting. I mean, you're still working longer hours, but you also have a much larger support staff. If you're the wide receiver coach, you have multiple assistant coaches and QC guys and everybody else. Like, no, sign me up for that. How substantial is UF's interest in Lane Kiffin? I mean, that's information that you will find out more. I would tell you that Florida has kicked tires on Lane Kiffin. What about the Cowboys coach? I don't think he's leaving the NFL to come to Florida.
You talking about the head coach?
Yeah, Schottenheimer. I don't think he's coming to Florida, and I don't think that you want him. I don't even know when the last time Schottenheimer coached college football. I know that these are names that you're like, oh, they went to UF. They must want to come here. Like, it's not that way, right? And we're fanatics for a reason. And he might have coached at Florida. Doesn't mean that he's a huge Florida fan and wants to be the new head coach at the University of Florida either. Bob
Who
Stoops,
the hell
Mark
said no Stoops? No Stoops. Like, what do you love yourself? I like the question. One of my guys, like, we can scroll up a little bit. He said, "Who do we like the most? Like, who's your favorite candidate?" That's actually poachable. Like, I don't want to just. I mean, shit. Give me Kirby Smart. Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, if we just playing, give me Saban. He's on the TV set. I take Saban. But who do you like? Do you like Drink? We can talk about that later.
No, yeah, we can talk about him because I think it's a name worth talking about. I mean, they all have their flaws. To be honest with you, my favorite out of them, I think, is Kenny Dillingham. I don't know if that's the perfect fit.
I would like Kenny Dillingham.
Now,
I think it's a fit though.
But I think that he would be my number one. Then I think Marcus Freeman would be 2, and then Lane Kiffin would be 3.
Yeah, bro. I like personally, I like Marcus Freeman a lot. Fit wise, Rhett Lashley and Kenny Dillingham, they get me excited from a fit standpoint. They're young. I think recruiting would thrive. I think quarterback development would thrive. It's just you back to and they could talk a little bit, I think the rivalry, Kenny Dillingham coached at Florida State. Mm-hmm. So that just brings a little bit more punch to it. He was an OC out there on the Norvell. So I like that part of it. Lashley coached at Miami. So it's a little bit of in-state, anguish there that you got out of both of them guys. But my favorite is just Marcus Freeman because I think he's going to be one of them guys in the future. I think he's one of the top coaches in the next 10 years, 10, 15 years. Marcus Freeman is going to go get him a couple natties.
Mm. Yeah, but I don't know if that would happen at Notre Dame, though. I don't think that he can win a national championship at Notre Dame.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. You need dogs to win a natty, and Notre Dame just can't get dogs. They get choir boys.
Kenny Dillingham is 18-14. Thank you. Let's see. Freeman would kill it recruiting. I'm just going through here. No on Brent Key. I'm telling you.
He's on the list. Yeah, Brent Keys.
Get to know Brent Key's name.
Yeah, they definitely hit him on a beeper.
Oh my God.
Is that a 352 number?
352 number just says 143 SS.
They know the beeper codes, man. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Nice.
So here again, Sean, you make a point. Freeman has 4 years of coaching experience. Okay. Dan Lanning has 3 or 4 years. He was an offensive coordinator. Kenny Dillingham doesn't have a lot. Rhett Lashley doesn't have a lot. Clark Lee doesn't. I mean, I want you to show me a coach that has like the perfect resume. There's nobody out there, right? Like Urban Meyer was like a
all
perfect
living in
resume.
They're all living in
Right?
2005, man. Like these coaches aren't experienced, bro. Like, and also, it's 4 years at Notre Dame. You're talking about 4 years of a high level football, bro. Like he's not coming from Louisiana Tech or some random school, bro. This is high level football.
Yeah, it's not. Billy Napier had 3 years of experience at Louisiana, and everybody's like, he's the next up and comer, right? And it's not just fans that said that, right? South Carolina was interested in him. Tennessee was interested in him. When you looked at whenever an big open job, Billy Napier's name was always there. It's not just about the years of experience that they have. Marcus Freeman bought Notre Dame, a team that consistently underachieves, to the college football semifinal in his 3rd year as a coach. That's not easy to do. Florida would be absolutely thrilled to even be in consideration right now for the college football playoff. And you're telling me that Marcus Freeman couldn't do more with more talent in the state of Florida? I mean, to me, that's the proof is there. How long do you need to wait? What's the years? Is it 10 years? Is it 12 years? Is it Kirk Cignetti number of years?
Hey, shout out to Aaron Hodges. So, I think you guys, like, everybody needs to just come to 2025. I don't think race is a factor in Florida hiring a head football coach. I think you guys are still living in 1997. Some of y'all 1977. Marcus Freeman is a candidate. He's been vetted out, and I don't think race is going to play a factor in anybody being a head coach right now. I think it's just experience and being a fit is going to matter more than anything. But me, bro, I'm big on just race matters and all that type of stuff. That's my type of lingo. And if there was a thing, then I would make it known that's a thing. But I don't think race is going to be a thing in this hire. I don't think Lane Kiffin is going to be a guy that gets hired. I know a lot of people keep saying Kiffin. Yo, get that out of your head. I don't think Kiffin's going down. I don't think people behind the scenes really rocking with him like that. Does Kiffin want the job? I think so. I don't think he's just trolling. Well, he is trolling, but he also wants the job. But I don't think Kiffin's about to get this job. Y'all might as well move on and get to know the names that Dan's saying.
No, it was, where was it? Freeman went to the Natty. No, it was Texas and Ohio State in the final.
Yeah.
Last year.
Yeah.
Right? Wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, you're right, bro.
I mean,
Freeman, he was the game before the Natty. He didn't make it. He didn't make it to. I think it was him and.
Am I getting confused?
Franklin. No, it was Ohio State and Notre Dame. Yeah,
was it? Okay.
Franklin and Marcus Freeman played each other the game before. There was 2 black coaches in that game.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then that's my bad. I'm got confused, and I think we got corrected a couple weeks ago, because I said he made the final. They're like, no, he lost the semifinal. What game did you guys watch? All right, so don't blame me. Blame the chat person from 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we did get corrected.
We did get corrected. Let's see. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it. There was another question here. This is how I like doing the show, man. I appreciate you guys being involved. If you're gonna ask a question, make sure that you like it. If Florida doesn't hire a head coach, will Scott Strickland look at successful coordinators? If so, who would you consider?
Next question.
What?
Next question.
Yeah. I don't know if we're totally prepared beyond just Will Stein, who's at Oregon, who has been a Power 5, Power 4 offensive coordinator for all of 2.5 years. He puts together a good offense. Obviously, got stifled a little bit against Indiana last week. What
was the question again? I read that wrong.
Coordinators. Who would you consider coordinator-wise? And maybe that's something that we can look into before next show. And then I have Brian Hartline on there. I know that there's questions about Brian Hartline's play calling. I think that he's a proven guy in the NFL. He's learned under Urban Meyer and Ryan Day. It's a successful program. I think that he could attract some good names, and I also don't think that he's going to be the one necessarily calling plays. I know Corey kind of disagrees with Brian Hartline from our last conversation, and I'm not willing to throw my political capital away on Brian Hartline either.
I respect that. You can't just, die on the heel of Brian Hartline.
No, I won't.
Word up. So let's talk about drink, man. What's your thoughts on weird drink?
Yeah, man. Obviously, this is Eli Drinkwitz, right? Comes over from App State, was a year at App State, goes to Missouri, has a couple of kind of average, mediocre years, and over the last few seasons, 27-5 at Missouri. A tougher place to recruit. Not necessarily a bastion of a ton of talent. You're also recruiting in kind of a weird area where you're still recruiting a lot against Texas and Oklahoma, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Michigan, that area. You're in an area where you don't necessarily have the most talent, and he's kind of figured it out against a lot of the same types of schools that Florida's losing to right now. I don't personally like his personality. I think he comes off a bit odd and different at times, a little bit Jim McElwain, like he's 55 and 26 as a head coach. I think that that's a lot to at Missouri would be really good. And I think if personality was a little bit different, I think that he would easily be a guy that's on that list. But if things start to go awry, how does he react? He's also making $9 million right now. He's a $5 million buyout before December 1st, $4 million after that. So again, are you going to pay Eli Drinkwitz on top of paying, let's just say $20 million for Billy Napier's buyout? Are you willing to sign him and his staff up for a $70 million contract? So it's a lot of dineros, right? And that's the way that you kind of have to think about this is if you're going to pull Eli from Missouri, they know what the market is. He's not going to leave for less than 11, 12. He's in a good spot right now. He's not going to get fired anytime.
He's a weirdo for sure.
For sure.
Fit, I don't think is a fit, but is he a good coach? Yes. I think like some of these coaches, I think fit matters, bro. It's like getting drafted in the NFL. Like, a lot of success goes by the fit of the program. Like some of these coaches, you're only going to get one big opportunity. Like I think if Muschamp had got the right first opportunity, like things traject different for him, right? Same thing. Like some of these coaches, I don't think like Dan Mullen, if his next job is not UF and maybe it's the NFL, then it's probably different for him. But he came to UF and then it just wasn't a fit. He didn't want to recruit. You got to be able to do all things. I think Dirk, he didn't drink. I mean, not Dirk. I don't think he would recruit well here. I think in-state, him going into schools and having to like go into certain communities and closing, I don't know if he's a fit in those regards. But will we consistently win games with him? Can he scheme? Does he know the league and the conference? Yes. I just think it will be a short-term fix. Yeah. But I think it wouldn't be a bad hire. I'm gonna be real with you. I think it would be a solid hire, but I don't think it would be a fit. It would be like Dan Mullen, in my opinion.
I mean, on paper, it'd be hard to argue against him.
Facts.
Right? And so as much as we might have differences of his personality and how well it might translate, if you're looking at resume and then you're looking at progression and improvement, it's hard to argue against what he's done at the University of Missouri, which is not a known football powerhouse. It's not like it was a dormant program for a couple of years or a decade or two. It's just not historically been a good program for the better part of most people listening to this podcast's lives. And he's turned them into a successful, consistently good 10-win program. I just don't necessarily think his personality and the Florida job match up. I will tell you this. Our two opinions on this matter may not matter. And I do think that there's interest from people around Florida in Eli Drinkwitz. And I think it's important for you guys to know Eli Drinkwitz's name.
For sure. Like I said, wouldn't be a bad hire. It's just I don't think it's a good fit. But we go win football game. He knows the conference. That's like one of the key things. It's like bringing in people that know this league. They're familiar with other coaches, how they run things, play call. Being able to hire well is another asset that you got to be able to have at this university.
Yeah, I think it's easy to get absorbed in some of the hullabaloo of some of the big names and the sexy hire. I don't know if there is a super sexy hire other than maybe Marcus Freeman, who has his flaws, that Florida is very interested in today, and that would excite everybody. And if you can get a coach that can get you up to 9 wins, 10 wins, Eli Drinkwitz might be that guy. He may not be, right? What does his staff look like? His staff at Missouri would probably look quite a bit different than his staff at Florida. I don't know what his tree looks like.
Will it though? Like we hear that all the time, but these guys always hire their friends.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Billy's made, instead of Jim McElwain and Dan Mullen, I don't know about Will Muschamp. They've made their friends some generational wealth.
For sure.
Yeah. Shout out to their offspring. Octavian Golish said he would take the job right now.
I will
obviously. Too. I think any G5 coach would leap at the opportunity to go to Florida. I'm just not a big Alex Golish guy.
I like him, but not for my not to be my coach. But I do like the his energy. I like his play calling a little bit. I think he has the moxie and all of that stuff. I think he can recruit well. I think he evaluates talent well. But I also think the job is too big for him.
Yeah, I would agree. You would probably want to see him, win consistently, maybe in another few years. It's just not a big enough program. This is a good question, Corey, because we talked about Billy Napier getting hired, and I want to take the last 3.5 years out of the equation when we talk about this. Billy Napier, the question is, why did Scott Strickland think Napier was the right match for UF? And I'll kind of go through what I know. Is Billy Napier got success early on in his career. He was relatively young as the offense coordinator at Clemson. Obviously, it didn't work out. He goes from Clemson to Alabama, learns under Nick Saban, goes to Arizona State as the offense coordinator. From there, he goes to Louisiana and turns them around. Has multiple 10-win seasons. He's known in the industry as a program builder, as a recruiter, as a CEO, as somebody that could right the ship at the University of Florida. Obviously, it didn't work out that way. But if you look at articles from 2020, 2021, 2019 even, all of the coaching boards, Billy Napier's name was there. He was one of the hottest names of any G5 coach that was out there. And I don't want to take that away from him now, knowing that it didn't work out after 3.5 years. And yes, there might have been people that disagreed, and maybe they didn't think that he was the right offense and that scheme wouldn't work out. All of those things aside, those can be factored into why it didn't work out. But at the time, Billy Napier had that. And it's hard to argue that he didn't come with a plan, because they went and hired a shit ton of people that they didn't have before. And they built out a lot of these other things, and they got them through things. And he obviously is good at creating a culture. It's just not a winning football culture right now.
I think it's a combination of two things. I think it's such a copycat, like football, sports in general is just a copycat thing. Hiring off the Saban tree, it was just trendy. So I think that's one of the reasons. I just think path of least resistance as far as buyouts and a lot of other things that come. I think most of our hires has been both of those two things: the Saban tree, and then path of least resistance is whatever school they're at.
Napier was 1-17 ranked road record in the Sun Belt Conference. I mean, I don't know how many coaches in the Sun Belt
Conference.
He's
in the Sun Belt, bro. Yeah.
The talent is vastly different. Right.
But looking at that offense, like I just don't know what anybody was thinking. Like when you watch Louisiana, the moment I looked at him, his name came up, I was like, the bowl game before he left, I was like, what is this?
Yeah.
Or the conference championship, I would say, that they were playing in. I was like, bro, what is this offense?
Scared money don't make money, Corey.
That's what got me lying. I'll lie for anybody. I'm gonna tell you that that's the rule. I'm gonna lie for whoever's the coach.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
I'm gonna support and I'm gonna lie for whoever. And then when he burns that bridge, and then we're just gonna cook him and then next guy up.
Yeah, Gator Tom said, I think Billy turned down the South Carolina job before Beamer got it. He did. He also turned down the Tennessee job before Heupel got it. Let's see. Let's look at notes here. It's kind of where we're at.
If you turn down those jobs, like, what do you? That's a flag almost. Who turns down?
You're waiting for a school to give you 7 years, $7.5 million per.
Waiting on the leg.
$6 million increase per year. Fully guaranteed.
Yeah, bro. Y'all better get to know the names we said, bro. And don't take James Franklin off that list. That boy ain't got no buyout. What's
funny, Corey, is if you look at this chat, it's kind of indicative of like Gator Nation right now. There has somebody has said no to every single coach plus more that we've named, right? So there's no pleasing everybody. There's no coach out there that's going to make everybody happy.
You might as well take – no, I'm not going to say it, man. Like, wish and hope for every coach you want, but also be realistic with the last 4 that have gotten hired and just know that whoever we've all rooted for and wanted that splash hire, it just hasn't splashed. So just keep that in mind.
Any chance on Sig? Coach Signetti, I haven't heard his name connected with Florida. Black Pine Labs, always appreciate your attendance here at Stadium and Gale, and for your super chat. We need a visor wearing, poon slinging son of a gun.
Poon slinging. It's a new definition for poon.
No,
so it's still the original poon he talking about. That's crazy.
I grew up in South Florida knowing was like hooking up and
yeah.
This
is a family show, bro.
That's why I said hooking up.
Talking about slinging poon.
Yeah,
is that the word on Kiffin or something? Like who's slinging poon?
Yeah. What about Kerwin Bell? Man, if Florida hires the head coach at Western Carolina and his name wasn't Kerwin Bell, you guys would make what Greg Schiano went through at Tennessee.
They hired Kerwin Bell.
A birthday party.
I'm shutting this show down. Whoever wants to buy Kirk and Gale. Whoever wants to buy Kirk and Gale, man, we'll give it.
Charlie, Kirk, and Gale. You can have it.
It would be for sale if we hire
God.
Curran Bell. You kidding me?
I wouldn't mind if Cade Bell came here as an offense coordinator.
We should have. That's who Billy should have hired.
He had the opportunity, man. There was interest. Where there's a will, there's a way. But oh man. All right. I love the chat. All right, Corey. I think that's a good spot to wrap up today. We'll see you guys tomorrow night on Stadium and Gale. And I think we're going to do game day eve on Thursday night this week.
Yeah.
Thursday night.
I can make Thursday night. Friday's been beating me. I apologize to everybody that's put on Stadium Gale and I haven't been there, man. Coming back from Miami traffic has gotten me 2 weeks in a row, clipped me. So I got to shut Fridays off. I apologize.
We'll do Thursday night. I'll be in Gainesville. I think Nick and I are going to try to do it, do the show together while we're up there. So that will be fun. But we appreciate everybody for hanging out. Before you leave, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, hit the retweet button. Last question, Corey, what book are you reading?
What book am I reading right now? I got to go book shopping. So I'm not actually reading a book right now because I finished the ones I had. The last book I read is The Laws of Success by Napoleon Hill.
Okay.
The last book I read right here. Hold on. It's long. It's almost like a textbook at a school. I'm gonna be real with you. I had to take notes, all that type of shit. But boom. There you go.
And then I am reading The Happiness Advantage by Sean Acker, which is a good book. So
that sounds fire. What's it called again?
It's called The Happiness Advantage. And then I just finished Abundance by Derek Thompson. I felt like I owed Derek Thompson. Derek Thompson's Twitter handle is @DKTomp. And Derek Thompson is like one of the most like renowned authors that's out there right now. He used to write for the Atlantic, and now he's doing his own Substack. And I'm pretty sure he wanted the DK Thompson handle. Well, it's taken. That's why it used to be DK_Thompson. Then one day I looked and it was open, and I hit up our friend that used to work at Twitter, and I was like, hey, can I have it? And so I get tagged in probably no less than 20 Derek Thompson tweets a week. And I tried to work out an arrangement, but he's like, no, you can have it. So we've become friends over the internet. So the book is called Abundance. I'm not going to talk about it because then people will think I'm some sort of super lib, and that's just not what I am. But anywho, we appreciate you guys watching. So we will be here tomorrow night at around 8:00. And then we will be here on Thursday night. We'll let you guys know the time. I appreciate everybody for watching, pulling out 2,300 of you on a Saturday night or Sunday night. Go enjoy the rest of your evenings, and we will talk with you guys soon.